Nice to see you. I'm Khadar Chuklai and you're watching my YouTube channel School of Advanced Chemistry. Now I'm going to explain Cambridge O-Level Chemistry Paper 1, October-November 2022, 1-2 variant, Part 2. Let's get started. Question number 21. Magnesium reacts with dilute sulfuric acid. Here is the equation: magnesium solid that is going to react with dilute sulfuric acid, and that is H2SO4 to make MgSO4 and hydrogen. So this is metal, acid, salt and hydrogen gas. Which changes in the conditions will result in the lowest rate of production of hydrogen? So this question is regarding the rate of a reaction. Number 1 condition is acid concentration. Number 2, solid particle size. Number 3, temperature. Concentration of any species is directly proportional to the rate of reaction. Solid particle size of a reactant is having inverse relation with the rate of reaction, that is inversely proportional to the rate of reaction. Temperature of the reaction is directly proportional to the rate of reaction. So if we want to lower down the rate of reaction, temperature should be decreased. Particle size, as it is reciprocal to the rate, so it should be increased. Concentration is having the direct relation with the rate of reaction, so it should be decreased. So row number 2, B is the correct option. B is the correct option. Question number 22. Carbonates react with dilute acid to produce carbon dioxide. A student uses excess carbonate and 100 centimeter cube of 1 mole, 0.1 mole per dm cube acid and measures the volume of gas produced at regular time intervals. The result gives the line X on the graph. Here is the line X. The student repeats the experiment using 50 centimeter cube of 0.2 mole per dm cube acid whilst keeping everything else same constant. Which line show the result of the second experiment? We know that the carbonate is in excess and this acid is a limiting reactant in this case. What is the mole of this acid that was used initially? That is equal to 100 centimeter cube multiplied by its mole per dm cube divided by 1000. So its mole will be equal to if I'm not wrong, that is 0.01. Let me check it over here. Yes, 0.01 moles. So we are using the mole of acid that is equal to 0.01 in experiment X. In second experiment, we are using the new volume and different concentration, different volume and different concentration of the acid. Let me find out the mole once again for this acid. That is 50, volume into its concentration, 0.2 divided by 1000. And again answer is equal to 0.01 mole. So these both experiments are having same number of moles. Limiting reactant in both experiment is same in mole, same in magnitude. So the second line, the second experiment curve will end at the same line as that of X. So it may be B or it may be the C that is the correct option. So the flat portion is common for X. In both cases, same volume of gas is supposed to be formed. Now come towards the speed of a reaction. In first experiment, that is X, we are using 0.1 mole per dm cube concentration of the acid. In second experiment, we are using 0.2 mole per dm cube acid. So in this case, the concentration of the acid in second experiment is double, is higher. So its speed will be higher and its line will be more closer to the y-axis. So B is the expression for the second experiment. So B is the correct option. B is the correct option in this case, as it is having more concentration and less volume. Initially we used 100 centimeter cube. In second experiment we use just 50 centimeter cube. Lesser the volume and higher the concentration, higher the speed of reaction. So B is demonstrating the high speed of this reaction. So B is the second experiment. That is the correct option. Question number 23. In contact process, sulfur is converted into sulfuric acid. A catalyst is added to the reaction mixture shown in the equation. 2 mole of SO2, O2 goes to 2 mole of SO3. What is the purpose of catalyst? Basically, the function of catalyst is to lower down the energy of activation, yes, by changing the path of a reaction. The basic function of the catalyst is to lower down the energy of activation, number one. Number two, how it is lowered? It is lowered by changing the path of a chemical reaction. So A is the correct option. Question number 24. Which change involves reduction? So which change involves reduction? Number one, option A, calcium carbonate to calcium oxide. CaCO3 is a calcium carbonate. On decomposition, it is going to make calcium oxide plus CO2. That is a complete equation. In this case, let me check the oxidation state of each and every element. You can say calcium plus 2, oxygen overall total minus 6, 3 oxygen, that is equal to minus 6, 1 oxygen is equal to minus 2, 1 oxygen is equal to minus 2, and 1 carbon is equal to plus 4. On right hand side, oxygen minus 2, calcium plus 2. In case of CO2, 2 oxygen is equal to minus 4, carbon is equal to plus 4, and 1 oxygen is equal to minus 2. This minus 4 is the answer of 2 oxygen atom. The 1 oxygen atom is having minus 2 oxidation state for 1 oxygen. So calcium, before and after, it's not going to change its oxidation state. Same is that case with the carbon. Carbon is having same oxidation state, plus 4, before and after. There is no change in oxidation number of carbon. There is no change in oxidation number of calcium. And same is the case, oxygen is also same. There is no change in oxidation number of oxygen. So this is not a redox reaction. So no oxidation, no reduction is possible. Option B, copper to brass. This is an alloy and it's a physical mixture. It's a physical mixture, and you can say it's a physical change. It's not a chemical change. As this is not a chemical change, so there is no chance of any sort of reduction. Ethane to polyethane, ethene to polyethane, and this is the ethene. This one, C double bond C, H goes to, again the similar type of atoms are over here, but this time is making a longest chain, and this is the part of polyethene. So in ethene, one carbon is bonded with the other carbon atoms. Carbon is having 2 hydrogen atoms. So each carbon is bonded with 2 type of element. And same is the case over here. Carbon is bonded with the carbon with the having 2 hydrogens and so on. So there is no change in any sort of element. There is no change in oxidation state of any element. So once again, this is not a redox reaction. And if it is not a redox reaction, it cannot be having the reduction. The last one will be the correct, obviously. It's silicon oxide. SiO2 sand is going to change itself into silicon. So silicon is losing oxygen. So yes, it is called reduction. It's called reduction. So D is the correct option. Question number 25. Under certain conditions, iron reacts with the chlorine to form iron 3 chloride. This is the iron Fe plus Cl2 goes to 2 mole of FeCl3. Which statement about this reaction is correct? Number 1, A option, chlorine is the oxidizing agent. All halogens are oxidizing agents. All halogens are oxidizing agents, so it is correct, it is true. However, we can check it from the equation. Initially, the oxidation number of iron is equal to 0. Oxidation number for Cl2 initially it is also 0. In case of FeCl3, overall 3Cl is equal to -3 and 1Cl is showing -1 oxidation state. In this case, the iron is having +3 oxidation state. So oxidation state of iron is going to increase and oxidation number of Cl is going to decrease. So oxidizing agent decreases its oxidation state and increases the oxidation state or the oxidation number of the other element. So yes, this Cl2 is doing the same job. It's decreasing its oxidation state, but it is increasing the oxidation number of the other. So yes, it is correct. It is confirmed that Cl2 chlorine is acting as an oxidizing agent. So A is the correct option. In this case, there is no need to check the other option. We have confirmed that chlorine is acting as an oxidizing agent, especially in this reaction. Question number 26. The equation shows a reaction in the contact process. 2 mole of sulfur dioxide plus oxygen gives 2 mole of sulfur dioxide and delta H is equal to -196 kilojoules per mole. Mean that is an exothermic reaction. Which change would move the position of equilibrium towards the left? This is the right hand side and this is the left hand side of the equation. Number 1, adding more oxygen. If you are adding more oxygen, then equilibrium will shift where there is no oxygen, on the right hand side. So the first one is incorrect. Increasing the pressure favors the reaction where there are less number of mole. Overall, total moles on the left hand side is equal to 3. 2 plus 1, 3 goes to here, that is equal to 2. So increasing the pressure, equilibrium will shift toward that side where there are less number of moles. So it is going to shift towards the right hand side, again not towards the left hand side. Increasing the temperature, C option. It's an exothermic reaction. The forward reaction is exothermic. Its reverse reaction will be endothermic. And increase in temperature always favors the endothermic side. Yes, now by increasing the temperature, equilibrium will shift towards the left hand side where the reaction is endothermic. Yes, it is true, and as it is moving towards the left hand side, so it's a correct option. C is the correct option. Question number 27. The table shows the pH value of some substances that can be consumed by humans. Substance P, its pH is equal to 6.6. Substance Q, pH is 3.1. Substance R, pH is equal to 10.4. Substance S, pH is equal to 7.8. Which statement about these substances is correct? Number 1, or A option, P is alkaline. No, P is not alkaline because its pH is less than that of 7. So it is not alkaline. B, Q has the lowest concentration of the hydrogen ion. No, its pH less mean it is having high concentration of H positive ion. Actually, pH is inversely proportional to the concentration of H positive ion. Just remember this formula, you can say. That is the tips or trick, you can say. So pH is inversely proportional to the H positive ion. R can neutralize excess stomach acid. R can neutralize. R, what is the pH of R? That is more than 7. So it is an alkali. Yes, you can say it is an alkali or base. So yes, it can neutralize the stomach acid. It can neutralize, it can react with an acid. So C is the correct option. However, let me check the D. S has a pH value closest to the neutral. S has the pH value that is closest. No, it's more, than that of the 7, than that of the neutral. There is a difference between 0.8 number or 0.8 pH differences over here. So it is not a very much minute difference. It's a, you can say it's a high difference. And so this one is not closest to the neutrality. So again, D is incorrect. A is incorrect. B is incorrect. Confirm that C is the correct option. Question number 28. Solution X is added to the solid salt, causing gas Y to be evolved. Gas Y dissolve in water, resulting a solution with the pH less than 7. Mean the gas is acidic. It means that gas is making acidic solution. What are the possible identities of the X and Y? Once again, solution X is added to solid salt, causing the Y to be evolved. Y gas is formed in this case, that is dissolved in water to give the aqueous solution that is acidic. So what should be the Y? First of all, I'm going to check the Y. It can be carbon dioxide gas. Ammonia is not the correct option as it is alkaline gas. So now come towards either B or D may be the correct options. Now let's see over here how CO2 is formed. It is formed by the addition of dilute acid with any carbonate. By the addition of acid into carbonate, there is the formation of carbon dioxide. So this is an appropriate option in column X. So D is the correct option. D is the correct option. Question number 29. Which substance react with dilute sulfuric acid in the presence of pure sample of lead sulfate? We want to make lead sulfate, that is PbSO4, and one reactant we are having sulfuric acid, plus the second one he is asking to choose. There should be any species that is having the lead. It may be lead soluble lead compound, lead nitrate, or it may be lead bicarbonate and so on. So there must be a soluble, as this acid is also soluble. This is a precipitation reaction, that is solid. PbSO4 is solid, that is insoluble. And one more species that may be formed, it may be the soluble one. So we have to choose a soluble compound that is having lead 2 positive ion. So aqueous lead 2 nitrate, yes, it is the possible correct option. And finally, we are going to make the 2 mole of nitric acid as well. And this is the balance equation, and it is said to be precipitation reaction. This reaction is said to be precipitation reaction, and this compound is an insoluble salt. So lead 2 nitrate is the best option, is the correct option, and A is the correct option. Just lead cannot be used. Powdered lead 2 carbonate cannot be used because it's soluble, it's insoluble, it's a solid. Again, lead oxide is again water insoluble. We need a soluble species over here, a soluble compound to react with the sulfuric acid to make an insoluble compound, lead sulfate. So the only one soluble and appropriate species is lead 2 nitrate, and A is the correct option. Question number 30. A pure sample of salt is obtained by filtration followed by evaporation of the filtrate. Which pair of reagent would produce the salt? Copper in hydrochloric acid. Copper does not react with any acid, especially with dilute acid, whenever it's going to make a salt and so on. It can react with the concentrated hydrochloric acid or concentrated sulfuric acid. Excess copper 2 carbonate and hydrochloric acid. Yes, it could be. Copper 2 carbonate is a base. Hydrochloric acid, as the name indicates, it is an acid. If it is excess, so it is filtered out. First of all, we are going to separate it by filtration. Then the filtrate is having CuCl2 aqueous. Then we will use the evaporation method to collect the dry filter to dry a sample of CuCl2. Yes, it could be, and it's a correct option. However, let me check the C and D. Aqueous silver nitrate and hydrochloric acid. Silver nitrate and hydrochloric acid, AgCl is formed in this case, that is a solid. And the next salt there is no next salt, that the next will be HNO3. So it could not be fit into this required postulate or the required statement, because this is not the salt, right? This is not a pure sample of salt. Aqueous sodium hydroxide and hydrochloric acid, when they react together, then there is the formation of NaCl, aqueous soluble compound, and water H2O. Again, this can not be separated, number one, by filtration. There is no any sort of insoluble compound remaining in the solution, so it cannot be feasible to apply filtration. Once again, C is incorrect, D is incorrect, so B is the correct option, and so on. Question number 31, which set of the condition is used in contact process? Quite simple. Vanadium 5 oxide is the catalyst, and the pressure in atium is the lowest pressure at 1 to 2 atm pressure, not 200. It's wrong. Again, A and D wrong. And temperature is 400 to 500. Yes, so C is the correct option. Question number 32, part of the periodic table is shown. Which substance is an unreactive gas found in the atmosphere? Unreactive gas belongs to the last column of the periodic table. These are the noble gases. And so again, it's a quite easiest question you can say, and it is the option is the D. D is the correct option. Question number 33, iron is obtained in the blast furnace from ore hematite. Which statement is correct? Calcium carbonate is used to remove the acidic impurities. Yes. When the calcium carbonate is heated, first of all, it is going to make calcium oxide plus CO2. This calcium oxide is basically a base, a metallic oxide that is acting as a base, and it's going to react with silicon dioxide, that is an acidic impurity, to make calcium silicate, a slag. So yes, A option is the correct option. Calcium carbonate is indirectly used to remove the acidic impurities in the blast furnace. There is no need to check the other options as well. Question number 34. Pollution may be caused by the oxide of carbon, nitrogen, or sulfur. Which element can each form more than one oxide? There are different type of oxides may be present because of these sort of elements. Carbon, nitrogen, sulfur, carbon and nitrogen, sulfur only, nitrogen and sulfur only. So more than one oxides, you have seen that carbon monoxide, carbon dioxide, nitrogen monoxide, N2O, nitrogen dioxide, and etc., and SO2 and SO3. So we are familiar with the oxide of these different oxide of these elements, and once again they all are having more than one oxide. So A is the correct option. Question number 35. A river runs through the area of the land that is used to grow cotton. The cotton farmers applied a large amount of fertilizer on their fields. This caused eutrophication in the river water. Which statement is correct? This question is about eutrophication and decreased A option, decreased level of the mineral salt and causes the eutrophication. No, not the decreased level of the mineral salt can cause this phenomenon. Desalination of the river water occurred. No, there is no any sort of desalination. Increased level of the phosphate caused a eutrophication. Yes, it is true. However, let me check the D as well. Oxygen level in the river water increased. No, it is decreased. So it is confirmed that C is the correct option. C is the correct option. Question number 36. Which compound is an alkane? So there must be all carbon-carbon single bonds. And you know that should be the simple alkane. The best way is to write their formulas over here. CH2 double bond CH and CH2 CH3. This is the pure formula, that is the basic display structure of this option A. So here is lying carbon-carbon double bond. So it cannot be an alkane. Come toward this one. This is CH3, then C, then H, then CH3 over here and CH3 over here. Yes, this compound is having all carbon to carbon single bond. So B is the correct option. B is the correct option. Question number 37. The equation shows the reaction that takes place when butanol is completely combusted in air. This is the butanol, oxygen, excess oxygen, and here is CO2 and H2O. What are the values of X, Y, and Z? So by balancing this equation, we can get the answer of X, Y, and Z. How many mole of carbon atoms are there? 4. Same mole of CO2 will be formed. So 4 mole of CO2 will be formed. What is the mole of hydrogen atom? 9 plus 1, that is equal to 10. So half of 10 mole of H2O will be formed, that is equal to 5. Now, how many oxygen atoms are lying on the right hand side? 4 2s are 8. 8 oxygen atom in case of CO2. 5 1s are 5 for H2O. And total number is equal to 13. So total oxygen on the right hand side is equal to 13. On the left hand side, here is 1 oxygen and rest of all oxygen should be there. So 13 minus 1, that is equal to 12. 12 by 2, that is equal to 6. So 6 mole of oxygen, 4 mole of CO2 and 5 mole of steam H2O will be formed. 6 mole of oxygen will be used. 4 mole of CO2 will be formed and 5 mole of H2O, steam will be formed. So 6, 4 and 5 are the numbers. 6, 4 and 5. D is the correct option. Question number 38. Propanoic acid reacts with the calcium carbonate. The products of these reactions are calcium propanoate, carbon dioxide and water. What is the equation for this reaction? Propanoic acid, that is having the formula C3H6O2. 3 carbon, 6 hydrogen and 2 oxygen should be there. Let me check in these options. In option A, how many total carbons are there? 2 plus 1, 3 carbons. 5 plus 1, 6 hydrogens. In this case, similarly 2 carbon, 1 carbon, 3 carbons. 5 plus 1, 6 hydrogens. In this case, 3 carbon plus 1, 4 carbon. No, 4 carbons are not valid. That is the butanoic acid, and he is saying propanoic acid. So once again, the D option is also having 4 carbons, so it's not a valid formula of the propanoic acid. It is basically the formula of butanoic acid. So either A or B may be the correct option. Now let's see over here. Let me check the formula of the other species. Calcium carbonate. No, it's incorrect formula. The formula of the calcium carbonate is CaCO3. CaCO3. So it means that this one is the correct one. And similarly, the salt formula of the calcium salt, that is calcium propanoate, is also true. The formula of CO2 is correct. Formula of H2O is also correct. So B is the correct option. 38, B is the correct option. Question number 39. Which row shows all the elements present in the polymers listed? Nylon, polythene, terylene. Nylon, it is having carbon, hydrogen, plus nitrogen, plus oxygen. So either B or D may be the correct option. In case of polythene, only two elements are there, carbon and hydrogen, again B or D may be the correct option. And terylene is an ester and it is not having nitrogen. It is having carbon, hydrogen and oxygen. Yes. So the last row, D is the correct option. Question number 40, the last one. The partial structure of a polymer is shown over here. This one. Which monomers would produce this polymer? The basic method, the basic trick you can say is, first of all, I'm going to remove this imide linkage. I'm going to break this imide or peptide, you can say. This peptide linkage, this imide linkage,